It's the month of love. So let's hear about love from a medical perspective. Welcome, my dear listener. Welcome to this podcast, Redoctoring, with your host, Dr. Diane. This is a platform to allow you to be a different kind of doctor. To my returning listeners, thank you so much for lending me an ear. And to my newbies, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy this episode. And if you loved it, please do go through the archive because there's a lot more gems that we discuss in the side because we are on the wavelength of redefining our careers. What does it mean? How do I be different? Whether I'm staying clinical, going solo, navigating, we talk about it all on the side. In an effort to be more consistent this year, I want to bring filler episodes that I'm going to be putting in between the interviews because, yeah, we need to keep the ball going for consistency. I want to title these specific filler episodes Doctor Diaries or Dear Doctor Diary or something like that. It's basically me not being in the hospital, but I'm reminiscing on certain aspects that I've thought about or had conversations about with people. Now it's the month of February, which is Valentine's, love, Vali, Valaza. I don't know what the people on social media have been remixing this month, and I am here for it. I saw a post on Instagram. This creator, I think she's also a healthcare professional, but she was talking about love in the perspective of it in the hospital and how we see it as healthcare workers. This is actually a conversation that I think I've had with a few people in my life. And I just thought, let me bring it here to the podcast because truly the things that we see in the hospital, heartwarming and disgusting from spouses and partners. In case you were new to this episode, I am now in corporate, but I was in clinical for I'm gonna say 4 years, you can say kinda. I'm 1 year or 2 years post ComServe. Did my ComServe in 2024, where I worked in ICU. ICU truly shapes a lot of my experience in medicine. I think your ComServe actually shapes a lot of how you view medicine because that is the first time that you are standing alone as a responsible senior. So one of the things that I got to see really in depth in that time is the support from spouses, which is crazy, okay? In the wards, when you're an intern, you mainly work in the wards. In the wards, because maybe it's because people in the wards are not as critical, so there's a lot of nonchalance that can happen. But in ICU, it felt like I saw the ones that loved their spouses and the ones that hated their spouses. It was crazy. What I saw actually made me push the bar higher to what it means to pick a husband. Like, I don't know if it's because we are oversharing on the internet, but like you are picking a spouse to be your medical representative when you're intubated. You are picking someone to take care of your household when you are not able to. You are picking someone to navigate what it means to have policies in place so that your family will still stay afloat should something happen to you. Like there's so much more to picking a spouse. Like I don't think we're looking at picking a spouse or even a partner at the depth that it is actually at. One thing I will say from the spouses who love their partners, it always warmed my heart. One thing about me, I'm a lover girl, but even deeper than that, I love to see love displayed. Of course, in ICU, it's very much it's in God's hands. Me, I don't know if you're coming out or if you're staying in. Everyone in ICU is kind of like a 5'2". Like, when you're in the wards, it's like a half past. No, when you're in the wards, it's like a 25'2", but when you're in ICU, it's like a 5'2", So you see very much expressive emotions from loved ones. I will never forget a husband that I once counseled. And when I say that ICU shaped my experience on love, it was because of this spouse. When I counseled him, the way he described his family unit, the way he described how he was holding everything down, the way he described the impact that this had on his family, but also not that, like how he showed emotion towards what it is that me and my team had to say. It broke me. It broke me completely because I realized that this this man loved his wife. But even deeper than that, it was just the fact that I wish that people have this type of support. I wish that when we have spouses, that when we pick wives and husbands, that we are picking people who will care for us to this extent. I've seen family who come in and we can kind of see that like they're there just for control. But this husband, he would come and he tended to his wife with such care. It's I remember the one nurse I spoke to, we were just like, wow. And I asked, I was like, girl, you've been in this longer than me. Have you seen this? And she's like, I have, but like every time I see it, it just, it just tugs at my heart. And I was just like, this is what it means when we say pick a partner. Like, this is when you pick a life partner, you're picking someone who is going to be there for you when you can't even be there for yourself. Because, hey, you're comatose or whatever. I don't know. But I will say that the expressions have been amazing on the one end. Then on the other end, I will say, if you are involved with someone and their family doesn't like you, how do you navigate that on a day-to-day? Okay, fine, maybe not day-to-day because you don't see each other, but like how do you navigate that when their son or their daughter that you're with is alive and well? I think that's quite tough. But take it a step further. When that person now becomes a patient and they're unable to do anything to fend you from the family. Because I've always just wondered, like, is it a red flag? Do you not be with someone if their family does not like you? It's one thing if that person is alive, if your partner is alive and they're able to defend you and care for you against their family. But what happens when they're incapacitated or they're in a state where they are not even here, that type of vibe. I once had a patient like that, and it broke my heart to see how the in-laws were treating her. Medically, because this patient is married, all the medical decisions are to be made by the wife, but because the husband's family did not like her or respect her, a homegirl who was the mother-in-law, the mother of the patient, the wife's mother-in-law, would come to the hospital and be like, yo, why didn't you tell me A, B, C, D, E, F, G? And we're like, girl, go talk to your daughter-in-law. Leave us out of this, man. We are just following legal proceedings. Like, we're following what is supposed to legally be done. And I think when you throw in the mix that ICU can happen to anyone or an intubation can happen to anyone, it really does make you sit down and think, like, are the dynamics still going to be okay? That's another thing that I thought of from my experiences. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to navigate this. I don't know what you're going to say. But it is a point to consider. It is a point to consider. Last but not least, on the very dramatic end, what I have seen. Oh, my gosh. I've seen spouses come in and completely show us, if not tell us, that they hate their spouse who is lying in the bed fighting for their life. Now, I can't get into what's happening and who's right and who's wrong, but it is very interesting to see how it plays out. It plays out in the form of not coming to patient where we share with the family and things about progress and whatnot. That's very subtle. But like on the very extreme end, a patient once asked for the partner's bank pin. And we were just like, excuse me? How are we supposed to know that? Like, we don't get access to that information. And this patient came to us already intubated and comatose. So like, madam, there was also another patient whose family was like, how can we change a life policy? Madam, sir, what you mean you want to change a life policy in this state? You can't. You can't. And I mean, like I said, I don't know who's right and who's wrong in those situations, but these three different circumstances of seeing how spouses have behaved with their partners, it really just made me think about who I'm going to choose to be my husband even more deeply, because when it's 5-2 for myself, is this person still going to respect and love? Like, that's supposed to be a given, but in today's day and age, the way it's so rare, it's crazy. My take is, if you do not know what love looks like, if you have not grown up with what love is supposed to look like, and you don't want to be on the social media looking at people because, oh, you don't know if it's real or if it's fake, I'll say go talk to a healthcare professional, or even better yet, go into a hospital during visiting hours and look at interactions between couples, between spouses. There is so much that can be said just by looking. Like, you don't even need to talk. Like, you can just look and you can just see how certain patients are treated. In the wards, it's one thing, because I'd say in the wards, you are there, but like in an intense situation, which is you being escalated into an ICU, things are much more, there's more emotion to it, because like I said, ICU, it's 5-2. So you definitely see more humanity at its rawest display, and one of those things is love, and how love looks like among couples and among partners. And yeah, of course, there's many other dynamics of love that is showed between family members, between siblings, between all of these things. I personally feel like nurses get all the tea in this life. What can I please tell you? My nurses that I worked with, I absolutely adored them, because if I didn't know something, they would know it by the end of their shift, because family tends to say more to the nurses than they say to us. Some patients even feel like the nurses do more because the nurses are by the patient's bedside. And then the doctors just waltz in and waltz out. So some patients' families feel more inclined to share more and deeper with the nurses. So the nurses get the tea and then they clock it with us. So yeah, I think there's so many different sides of humanity that I've had the privilege and I've been humbled to see in my time of working in clinical medicine. And in this episode, I just wanted to share a bit about the roller coaster that is love displayed when things are at a critical point. It's the human experience truly is something. It truly is. So, yeah, remember, if there's nothing you want to take from this episode, just remember that the person beside you is not there beside you just for vibes. The person beside you, or who you choose to do life with, they're not there just for a cute Instagrammable moment, for a trip to, I don't know, Egypt or whatever travel destination is trending. That person is there because they will speak for you when you can't speak for yourself. This person will interact with your family and make healthcare decisions, whether to your benefit or to your detriment. This person will be there when you are not there. And that's a whole deeper revelation. I get that a lot of people don't think about this, because nobody thinks about what will happen if they become intubated, but the ventilator can come for anyone. That is one of the points of conversation that I had following my time in clinical medicine, that I found so fascinating to witness, and that I definitely take and apply to myself in my real life. I say real life as if me being a clinical doctor was a character in I don't know, a sitcom or something. Girl, please. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please do like, comment, share, send it to a friend of a friend. Let the people see, let the people comment. Let me know what you think if you're a healthcare worker. What's been a part of humanity that has truly changed how you view it because of how you've seen it in the hospital? And yeah, no, I'll definitely see you in next week's episode. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. So until next week, same time, same place, my name is Dr. Diane, and this has been your permission to be a different kind of doctor. Bye!